From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Hannah Mordeau, and this is your News 8 Daily for Friday, July 19th. It is a fantastic Friday, starting out almost cool for this time of the year in the upper 50s, but expect the temps to get up to the upper 70s today. Low humidity and lots of sunshine. Breaking news, a global internet outage is impacting airlines, banks, and much more. It started overseas and is now impacting flights in this country. News 8's Hernan Gutierrez is at the Indianapolis International Airport with the latest.
So right now things are starting to progress very slowly. Here in Indianapolis, FlightAware shows that there are about 12 flight cancellations and 22 flight delays right now. But I do want to kind of show you guys what the scene is. I'll take a quick step out. This is the flight counter for Delta Airlines. It has kind of been like this for quite a while now. Not a whole lot of movement here. But as we turn around here by where this line kind of started is where American Airlines people were checking in, and they were blending a couple hours ago. Now about a couple dozen people looking to check in. United Airlines also seeing some slow movement. However, their line is still out the door. Other airports have been showing higher numbers of delays and cancellations. As of right now, the only major airline that still has a pause on all flights is Delta. American Airlines says it had resumed normal operations, and United says it has resumed some flights. Earlier, I spoke to a man who was trying to get his family on a flight out of Indianapolis. He says they finally got checked in, but only after waiting in line for more than 2 hours.
We got a 2-month-old, a 2-year-old, and a 6-year-old. It's been extremely nail-biting, trying to keep them all controlled and calm and patient, but we've got the tablets and everything to keep them busy.
As for what caused the global outage, CNN is reporting it seems to stem from a security update sent from the cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike to Microsoft operating systems. The CEO of CrowdStrike sent a message to customers saying the problem was identified and a fix has been developed. And just in moments ago, Microsoft says the underlying cause of the outage has been fixed, but there could still be some residual impact for some who are using Microsoft 360 apps and services. I spoke to a spokesperson for the airport here in Indianapolis earlier this morning. She says not to call the airport if you have any questions about your flight. Be sure to check in with your airline or check online for your flight's status. As soon as we learn more, we'll make sure to jump in right here on Daybreak. Be sure to stay tuned to wishtv.com.
I said to myself, wow, what was that? It can only be a bullet. And moved my right hand to my ear, brought it down. My hand was covered with blood, just absolutely blood all over the place. I immediately knew it was very serious, that we were under attack.
Former President Donald Trump describes the gunshot that abruptly ended his last speech as he officially accepts the Republican Party's nomination for president. He took the stage last night at the final night of the Republican National Convention. Trump delivered his acceptance speech with a bandage over his ear, wounded in the shooting. Trump started with the shooting story and said this is the only time he will ever tell it because it's too painful to recall. He then turned to campaign themes: inflation, economy, crime, and immigration, in a speech that lasted more than an hour. Trump is now set to travel to Michigan with running mate J.D. Vance for their first joint rally. President Joe Biden's campaign plans to host an all-staff meeting today as more prominent Democrats call for the president to give up his re-election bid. The Associated Press is reporting former President Barack Obama and former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi are now among those expressing concerns. Almost 24 members of Congress are publicly calling for Biden to step aside. Biden's campaign insists he is staying in the race and can win.
I'm confident that we will nominate the best candidate to take on and defeat Donald Trump. For me, that's Joe Biden. For some of my colleagues, they have different views.
The president is not campaigning right now. Biden is isolating and recovering from COVID. IMPD is not yet offering a theory or any word about who did it in the shooting death of prominent community activist Ron G. Police say they found G yesterday morning fatally wounded outside of an SUV at a gas station at 38th and Arlington. This morning, many are paying tributes to G's life and work. City leaders say he leaves a legacy of peace. News 8's Adam Pinsker talked to them.
Ron founded the group Indy Ceasefire, which was dedicated to eliminating violence, particularly among young people. Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett told me he's shocked and saddened to hear that G was murdered. Wish TV interviewed Ron G on November 1st, 2020, after his group Indy Ceasefire held a 72-hour ceasefire in Indianapolis following a rash of shootings. It lasted just 49 hours, but G called it a success.
I see so many kids out there on the corner saying, stop the violence, stop the violence, stop the violence. And hearing all the honks throughout the city, it was amazing for us.
Mayor Joe Hogsett said although he didn't know G very well personally, he is well aware of the impact G had on steering people away from violence.
He was an integral part of our peacemaking efforts, and I hope that his legacy is in no small measure reflected by the lowering of the number of incidents of gun violence that our city continues to experience.
Indianapolis City County Councilor Keith Graves said in a statement, earlier today our city lost a prominent community leader, mentor, friend, and brother, Ron G. Ron has been like a little brother to me ever since I met him when I first became a city county councilor. And like many of us in our community, I am heartbroken. He was well respected and loved by so many, and I'm devastated that he died from the very violence he dedicated his life to fighting against. Ron wanted better for our community, and may we all commit ourselves to carrying Ron's legacy of service, peace, and justice. Let us work together to create the peaceful community Ron worked every day to create. My heart goes out to Ron's family, friends, and our entire city during this difficult time. Mayor Hogsett also said he's saddened G lost his life to the gun violence he tried to prevent.
So to lose somebody like that, to say goodbye to somebody like that, it's a community loss.
Fellow community activists who worked with G are responding to his death. Reverend Kenneth Sullivan's church is across the street from G's old restaurant. He says that this is tragic and only emphasizes the importance of the work G spent his life doing.
And it's one of those unfortunate things that causes all of us to stop and pause and to see the impact of gun violence in our community and the epidemic of gun violence across America. I think we need programs like what Ron had, and that was trying to cease fire and stop the violence. Those are the things that we really need. So we need more people like him in our community. So it's tragic to see someone who was trying to curb violence become a victim of violence.
Reverend Charles Harrison also worked with G for years. He says Ron had a vision to create a safer city and that trying to stop violence can be a dangerous mission. Wish TV is your education station. New iLearn scores show 60% of students in Indiana are not performing at grade level in math or English. News 8's government reporter Garrett Berquist asked teachers and lawmakers what needs to change.
Cheyenne Mappus has taught 4th and 5th grade in Morgan County for nearly 20 years. She says this year's iLearn scores show we're still recovering from COVID measures.
In just that year alone, our students weren't here on Wednesdays, so they ended up missing about 20% of their instruction in 1st grade. And that's a pretty pivotal year when we're talking about learning to read.
3rd grade English language arts scores dropped by 0.1% compared to last year. 8th grade English language arts scores improved by 1.3%. Math scores were better. 3rd and 8th graders both topped last year's scores by more than 3.5%. But overall, 6 out of 10 Indiana students are not at grade level proficiency in either math or English.
Yes, COVID affected it. What is your reaction to COVID and its consequence for our students? Should have been an enormous, massive effort reaching down to the individual classroom to help those kids out.
Delaney says the scores are low because the Republican supermajority in the legislature has diverted too much funding away from traditional public schools.
They're wasting our time, they're wasting our money, but more importantly, they're wasting the lives of our children. We should say this is a crisis. We are going to deal with it. We're going to put as many people and as many dollars as we need to into the classrooms, because the teachers with assistants can help kids who are falling behind. That has been done. That has been shown.
Mappa says lawmakers can start by better funding professional development programs for teachers. And she says we need to change our approach to testing to better reflect each student's individual strengths and weaknesses.
Those kids come with a background of different situations, of trauma, of of various levels of parent engagement, of various experiences before they ever step foot in a classroom. And so that iLearn test needs to be one piece of the puzzle that we look at. It can't be the only thing we look at.
I contacted the top-ranking Republicans on both the House and Senate education committees. They could not be made available before deadline.
NASCAR is back on the oval at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway today. The Brickyard 400 is this weekend, and the NASCAR Cup Series and Xfinity Series cars will be on the track today for practice. Public gates open at noon. The Xfinity Series cars hit the track at 1 this afternoon, and the Cup cars will be on the track at around 2:30. Tickets start at $25. Kids 15 and under get in for free with a paying adult. WNBA All-Star Weekend tips off tonight in Phoenix with plenty of Fever favorites. Fever guard Erica Wheeler will compete in the skills contest at 9 tonight. Then Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and Kelsey Mitchell will take the court for Team WNBA on Saturday. They play Team USA ahead of the Paris Olympics. Team WNBA has another Indiana connection. Coach Cheryl Miller is Reggie Miller's sister. The All-Star game tips off tomorrow evening at 8:30. Comedy has lost a true great. Bob Newhart passed away Thursday. His career spanned generations and broke ground at each stop. His deadpan stand-up routine starting in the 50s won wide acclaim and a Grammy Award. He also starred in 2 very successful sitcoms which had nothing to do with each other until the finale of the second one.
Honey, wake up. You won't believe the dream I just had.
In that last scene, Newhart revealed that the entire second sitcom was a dream from the first. You can see him wake up, say it was all a dream, next to his wife from the first sitcom. Bob Newhart stayed very active deep into his life, including an Emmy-winning guest role on The Big Bang Theory and playing the adoptive dad of Will Ferrell's character in Elf. Bob Newhart was 94. This has been your News 8 Daily from Wish TV. I'm Hannah Mordeau. Watch us on WishTV.com and follow us on Facebook for updates.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go, connect with Wish TV on Facebook at WishTV.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.